some recordings. They don't do it like this anymore. Nowadays, of course, it's just taken for granted. If you're going to do this opera in Chicago, of course it will be in Russian. But I wanted to ask what kind of challenge you found in learning a role in Russian. Do you speak Russian? Is it one of the languages you've learned?
No, I didn't, but I did study a lot. You know, the first approach with the Russian text was for a big recital that I prepared in the first years of the 90s with Alexis Weissenberg. And we did a fantastic program that last year we also put in a CD, but with another pianist, because unfortunately Alexis is not anymore practicing. And it took me 2 good years of deep study to prepare this recital. And it was very important because when 5 or 6 years after I had the first offer for Boris, I was already into that length of wave, you know, and to learn Boris was something not so difficult. It took me, for this version, it took me, let's say, 4 months, but really going very quiet without pushing. And it was for Rome. And in Rome, something happened a month before the beginning of rehearsals. In Rome became general director Sinopoli. The conductor who was supposed to conduct Boris was somehow offended, and he left, leaving Piero Fagioli, the great director, and the theater with the conductor. And Piero pushed until he made it to do the second version, the 74, which is 4 hours instead of 2, which is 40% of text more and music. And I had to learn it in 10 days. And I made it by heart. I was in Vienna singing Italiani Nageri, and I started again on a Friday 13 at 9 o'clock, something like that. Then for 10 days I was studying an average of 16, 17 hours a day, full immersion, nothing else. But when I arrived in Rome 10 days after, for the first rehearsal, it was there in my mind. I don't know how it happened. I probably wouldn't be able to do it again, but it did happen. And I must thank the fact that I was already owning somehow the language, otherwise it would have been really impossible. It's a fantastic language for singing. Even though Russian and Italian don't have anything in common, when it happens to sing in these 2 languages, they are both based on vowels. And the vowels are those who are carrying and projecting sound. So, and the consonants are very smooth and not hard or on the throat like in German, for instance. And it was a matter of application, of study, but I must say it was easy.
Wow, okay. I learned earlier that Friday the 13th is a lucky day, generally speaking, for Ferruccio. He mentioned that he made his not his debut, but the real important debut in Trieste in La Bohème on a Friday the 13th, and it went very well. And now we have this other experience with Boris in Rome, so clearly it's a lucky day for him, and if anything. This question of repertoire, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. We know Ferruccio above all for his work in the field of opera, but as he just mentioned, he's also done other kinds of singing, has had a concert career and a song recital career, and has recorded works for piano and voice, Winterreise of Schubert, which he's performed, and also what seems to me must be a very difficult challenge, the songs and dances of Death of Mussorgsky, and I guess other Russian songs for voice and piano. Somehow, to me, because of Mussorgsky's obsession with the way you set Russian to music, of trying to follow with your melodic line every nuance of the language, to make it as realistic a musical setting as possible, I can only imagine that that must be very difficult. What was your experience like in learning those songs?
Well, you know, the pieces that you mentioned, the song and dance or death, were, and they are a part of this big Russian recital. I mean, the first part is based on leaders by Rachmaninoff, especially beautiful also for the pianist in this case. And the second part are leaders of Mussorgsky, ending with the 4 pieces. So, yeah, what I did for the rest, I did for these songs. And with the difference of the others, the 4 songs is something that I keep doing also in orchestra concerts quite often. Last year in Salzburg I did it